Hey guys, how's it
Hi,
going?
Jess. Hi, Jess.
Hey,
Happy,
Jess.
Hey, Jess. Hey, Jess.
Hi, Jess.
how you guys?
Hello, Jess. Hello.
How's everybody? Everybody's good? Great. I love
Yeah.
that. Okay, so a couple of things that I just want to go over um very quickly. So everybody that was in the basic summit, okay, all the basic summit people that are going to the mastermind. Y'all are gonna have a call tomorrow at 8 o'clock. So check your emails because I promised y'all that I was gonna do a call with y'all before that mastermind. So please check y'all emails, okay? Um, check y'all's emails for like all that information. And then I'm also going to have somebody or people that are like putting together
Hey, how you
uh,
doing?
just muted her. I'm gonna have people that are putting together the back end of the mastermind just for y'all. Like if y'all have any questions about anything back end wise, but y'all know like I'm gonna be delivering my part and teaching and everything like that. But like the logistics and the back end stuff, I'll definitely have somebody on the call for y'all to ask questions in regards to that. Okay. Um, as far as all of the well, as far as everybody else, actually, don't forget that y'all's first Monday of the month call is next week. So make sure y'all hop on that call. Next Monday will be the first Monday of the month. It's so crazy. Can y'all believe that it's literally July? Like, where did the time go? Why does it feel like this year is just passing us by? You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like Thanksgiving and Christmas was yesterday. So it's kind of surreal, but don't forget that you guys call is Monday. All right. Okay. Let's get into the charts. I am very under the weather today, but because we did not have class yesterday or last week, I definitely wanted to push through and still do this call tonight. Um, Let me go ahead and share my screen. Also, y'all know I got a perfect goal. I don't trade for nobody. I'm so tired of saying that, but as many people that get scammed, I just feel like I have to keep saying it. I don't trade for nobody. We all know this. Like, don't talk to nobody to reach out to y'all, basically, because it's not me. All right. That's for the people on YouTube. All right. So I'm getting ready to share my screen and we'll go over the analysis. First off, did anybody have questions about the analysis from this past Sunday? Any questions before I go into the material?
Hi, Jess. I guess like one question I did have while watching it is like, I know with zones, when going to your TP, whenever I'm back testing, I realize like sometimes they don't always hit the TP exactly. So like, do you look left to make like to look at the wicks or the actual candle to like, associate that with the zone? You know what I mean? Because sometimes it don't always hit like the 61.8 or a negative 27. That's one thing that I was thinking about when watching. So,
Okay. Um, okay, that's actually one of the questions or similar to one of the questions that's on the YouTube call or on the YouTube comment. So I'll answer that. Um, I'm sorry, y'all. I got the worst headache in the world. Like my head is banging today. But in regards to negative 27, yeah. So mine always hit in regards to as long as I draw my structure, my TPs always get hit. You just have to make sure you understand what structure that you're in, because that's very important. Anytime that you are looking at a higher time frame structure, but you could be in a very minor structure, then it can be off. But one of the questions that were on YouTube that somebody had asked, let me actually just pull it up. Somebody had asked when it came to the negative 27, what assurance do you have that price on G would stop at -27 and reverse lower? Why not -61.8? And I feel like I always answer that question all the time. It's that net stopping point, to be honest. Like, you don't know. Like, y'all remember even when I did the analysis. So actually, let me just backtrack. Let's go all the way back and let's talk about where we were last week. And then I'll kind of go into, of course, we know we go where we were and then where we are now, but I want to use replay so y'all can kind of see. Let's just hide these.
And thank you, Jessica, for answering that question. Thank you.
No problem, but also it depends on everything. So it's not just the wick and it's not just the body. To answer your question directly, it's not just the wick and it's not just the body. It's multiple things working together. It's never just one over the other.
I'm with you, those confluences.
Okay, well, I can actually delete this. Yeah. So that whole sale played out for 113 pips. I'm going to actually delete that instead of hide it, but let's hide the rest of this. So when I had first analyzed this, we were literally here in structure. We were here. Well, actually, I don't even think we had gotten to that little bit of consolidation first. We were literally like, right. Yep, Monday, we were about right here. So we didn't do the call Sunday night. All morning, Monday, we were literally heading in this buy. It was clear, one, we had divergence coming off of this. We were also at -61.8. But Monday, when I did the analysis, when I sent it to you guys, I had two different things or two main scenarios that I was looking at. I was looking for a price. I mean, we had made an impulse. We all know after impulse, you have correction and then continuation. Now, remember, long term, I've been looking for that overall sale from forever. Like, well, not even forever. If you go back on the last like 3 calls, remember on the higher time frame, we had divergence. I'll go to that chart in a second, but I don't want to hop around, so I want to do it step by step. I'll go to that chart in a second. But my two analysis or my two things that I told you guys what happened was this pullback was definite. And then we had either price going to this purple zone and dropping, or remember we talked about after price pullback, we could go to, hold on, because I don't want this trend line to confuse y'all because this was drawn later in the week. So let's hide that also. Oh. Okay, there we go. So we talked about pulling back, this being the first, and then this being the second, right? You don't know. Like, that's the part that I want to make clear to everybody. Like, you take it step by step. Like, that's the only way you don't lose trades. Like, people that are just trying to speculate, like, is gambling, right? Like, you don't take, that's why I make sure and emphasize over and over and over with you guys that you don't take trades that you aren't sure about. You don't take trades until your confirmation's there. Now, we knew at the top of his zone, I mean, we can range anywhere in this zone, but on higher time frame, we're in consolidation, but also in this zone, if you look left, you'll see that every time we're in this zone, we pretty much range in this area. So we had talked about this, right? So if you look at where we are now, we're in this zone. We had a strong impulse. The way the market moves is impulse, correction, continuation, right? So the main thing I was looking at, like at this point, this was a beautiful buy. Like, I wish we did actually have class last Sunday night because we could have caught this buy from this divergence here, right? But from the point in which I analyzed, this had already played out. So the next thing we were looking for is that pullback, that buy, and then remember that sell. So let me go into actual major structure first so you guys could see where we are, and then let's talk about this. So we've been talking about this literally for, I don't know, the whole freaking year, I feel like, in regards to this whole consolidated area that we've been in GU. All right, everybody. And that's also why when it comes to Sunday night calls, I try to stick with the same pairs also, just because for learning purposes, it's very easy to, like, the same thing that happens on one pair, the concept is the same through everything. So if we can follow and just really understand what we're looking at and like understand, like that's why I love just doing one pair for Sunday night calls, even though I trade more than this, but I mean trade more than this one pair. I like doing this as a main pair for Sunday calls. One, because some people are super, super advanced where they are on US 30 and they're on NASDAQ and all of these different indices and like gold, commodities, stuff like that, where they're going to be too advanced for me to break down, let's say AUD USD. But GU is right in the middle where it's like, it still moves very fast. All London pairs do actually. It still moves fast to the point where but it also respects structure. It doesn't break structure like indices in regards to the rapidness, but it's also not super slow like an AUD pair or NZD pair or something that's very slow. But in regards to understanding structure, price tells a story all the time, right? It's just for us to like keep up with the story. So if we look at this whole thing, and if you guys go back, just go rewatch all of the calls, honestly. We've talked about this whole consolidated area that we've been in GU on our higher time frame structure. Okay. And then about 2 to 3 weeks ago, we talked about I was expecting a sell here because remember we had this divergence. So everybody remember the sell I was expecting? And I think it was Ben who had asked about a trend line here. And then I talked about drawing a trend line under the bottom of this. And you see how it finally got retested literally this past week. Does everybody see this? Everybody
Yes.
with me?
Yes,
Yep.
yes, we see it.
Good. Is everybody with me though? Like, does anybody have any questions before I just keep going on and on? No? Okay, perfect. Okay, so at this point, even when we shot up, like remember we had that first push down on the sell, right? We were literally just still in this structure. But when we shot up, and we talked about this, I think on the call before last, I think it was the week before last. Oh no, because this was Father's Day weekend. Okay, whatever. But that hit the negative 61.8. I feel like I talked about it in some video, but this hit negative 61.8. All it did was touch that negative 61.8, and then we got that sell. Then this past week, we had the retest of the structure that's here. So this divergence, remember on the higher time frame, it takes forever to play out. That divergence started forming in May. It's now about to be the end of June. So that's also something important to take as a learning lesson, but I've emphasized it on different calls previously that when we have divergence works on different time frames. So understanding, I'm sorry, let me go to my trading time frame. PPUSD. Understanding what structure you're in is important so you can take advantage of all of them. Okay. Now back to where we were. So this past week, Monday, we gave out the analysis, we were here. I needed price to pull back. Now, remember, no fib structure was drawn yet, because even when the price was pushing on Monday, we had not reached a stopping point yet. Okay, so remember, a fib can only be drawn once the impulse is finished. Okay, at the point in which this was already at the top, you can't draw a fib. You're not getting into price. Like you're literally waiting on structure to tell you something else. Now, I had sent an update on this, or when I had gotten into this trade, I got in literally at this negative 61.8 because it was just abundantly clear. But a safe entry would have been here. Let me just highlight it. This would have been a safe entry on this break and retest here for this buy, right? Now, when people say, how did you know it was going to be negative 27 and not negative 61.8? Again, that literally just goes with, and remember structure, guys, if you go back to your second assignment, I know people on YouTube don't know nothing about second assignment and what that is, but these are basically the same. So don't be so anal to say, oh, well, should I put it on this one or this one? Like, they're basically the same structure. You know, when I talk about in your course, do not trace price, like we're not tracing like literally the steps of this, like an impulse would be here, here, here. It doesn't matter how much noise was in between it. You don't want to get caught up on noise, okay? So this structure, whether you draw your fib here or at this point right here, is pretty much the same in regards to the TP area in which you're looking at. Now, as you guys see, at the point, remember, I had just had it come into the zone because that zone was my next stopping point. And then as price continued to form, and we had a stopping point to draw an actual fib structure, right? That TP level aligned with the TP level for the fib just aligned with the zone. Does that make sense? Everybody with me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
That makes
Yes.
sense.
Okay.
Yes, Jess.
That's also
Yes,
what I mean
Jess.
by like aligning confluences as price plays out. It's just confluences aligned, really. So remember our first move was our little impulse or our pullback to either this zone or the blue zone and then the drop. So we got that drop. I'm gonna actually put my y'all, I don't know why I got this badass headache, but the left side of my head is freaking on fire. Okay, so I mean, I'm gonna hide this for a second. And I'm gonna hide this. Okay, so I think at the point in which I had sent it in none of this had even played out yet. It was just literally pushed into here. And that's when I said I had gotten my entry at the negative 61.8. This trend line was not there yet because, of course, the negative 61.8 was what made the second point in that trend line. But I knew my trajectory. I was looking for a buy. So me entering here was literally based on a premise. One, I mean, I just knew it. But again, your safe entry would have been here. So this was the pullback structure. This was a minor structure here to fulfill this pullback for the overall sell. Now, I'm going over it step by step because I don't know what confused, because I got a couple messages on Instagram, and I don't know if the verbiage of the Telegram was confusing. I feel like it was straightforward, but
It actually was pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah, I thought it was straightforward.
It was really good.
I
Yeah,
thought
me
so
too.
too, but people were confused. So I just want to make sure everybody understands, because of
I mean,
course
you
I know
had steps
nobody
1 through
else.
7. I mean, what more could you ask for? You broke it all the way down.
Oh, that was last week, the 1 through 7. I'm talking about or the week before last was the 1
Oh
through
yeah,
7. I'm talking about
yeah, you
this.
did.
Everybody this
Oh,
in
yeah.
regards to the
Oh yeah, I remember that. That was
okay.
good.
Well, the part that I feel like people had confusion about that, I just want to clarify because I told the girl on Instagram, I'll clarify it on the call, so I'm just keeping my word. When I said I entered the buy on a negative 61.8, I'm about 45 pips in profit. I secured profits on one order. So, okay, so I had 2 orders in this trade. Now, the reason I placed 2 orders is because remember, anything can happen in the market, right? So I always look at things of what's my next stopping point. Does that make sense?
Yes,
What's
ma'am.
my next
Yeah.
stopping point? What is my next stopping point? What is my next stopping point, right? So one, I had secured literally just at the top of this because we remember this was a zone, which means that price can push down as much as it wanted to. So I secured one there and then also let
We're
one
still looking
run.
at the chart talk, Jess. We can't
Oh,
see
shoot.
your
Dang it.
chart.
Hold on. Okay, sorry. Thank you for letting me know.
Yes,
All right. So
I have a question.
okay, hold on. Let me just finish this thought for one second. So I secured the take profit here because remember when you're in a zone, price can consolidate as much as it wants to. It can move back and forth as much as it wants to. And I think that's something that might hold some people up or confuse some people or whatever the case may be. You just always have to be ready for anything. So this was the structure. Remember, I just want to keep emphasizing what is the structure that you're in. So on our higher time frame, now, I know I'm still on 15-minute, but I'm just explaining it like this. Remember, we had all of this pushed down. Remember, impulse, correction, continuation. So when I talked about on that message, the main cell that I was looking for, this is the main cell that I'm looking for. But in that main cell, there are still moves in regards to the pullback, second assignment. There are still moves inside of like a pullback is literally a trend that is forming. It's just a smaller trend making up an overall trend. Okay. So there's
So is it correct to extend the fib to the larger one, larger move?
You said what?
Would it be correct to extend the fib to where the negative 61.8 was the previous fib to that overall move you're looking for the sell?
Well, I'm not there yet. Hold on one second. Let me finish my thought real quick. Because I'll get there. I'm just talking about like where we are in regards to this pullback structure. I'll talk about where we are in the market now in a second, but where we are here. So does everybody understand this part?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So now let's go back to this.
Can you just show where you seek your profit? I think you got interrupted.
You say what?
Can you just show where you secured profit one more time? You got interrupted.
I'm sorry. Your thing broke up. You said,
She said, can you show where you took your profit again? Because you were interrupted.
oh yeah, I'll show it. Yeah, I'll show it. Give me 1 second. So I just want to talk about these two orders so people understand them. And yes, I'll go over that. I took it at the top of that zone. So right here, I secure profits on one order and I have a stop loss and profit on the other because we are still in this zone. So remember what I just talked about. When you're in a zone.
I'm not seeing your chart.
I know. I'm on chart talk right now. You should see the Telegram. Y'all see the Telegram?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm just going over, I'm explaining it. So, blah, blah, da, 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 da. So because I put here, when I said the girl was confused about this part. So when I said, because we are still in this zone and price is currently ranging, that means, remember that when you're in a zone, price can consolidate as much as it wants to. We don't control the market, we react to it, okay? So that's very important. And then also remember on that higher time frame, we had not pulled back past the 23.6. Okay, so that was also something to note. I'll go back to the charts in a second, but I just want to get through this part. Then I put what I'm looking for next is for price to continue to make higher highs and higher lows to fulfill our buy pullback. So let's go back to the chart now. New share. So at this point, my first order took profit literally at the top of this, like just where the price had hit this. So I had two twin trades. Then I wasn't going to pull the second one because I think I sent the order around this point. I mean, the update around this point. When I said what I'm looking for is price to continue to make higher highs and higher lows. So we already started to make higher highs and higher lows forming. There will not be a break-in structure based off of the trade that we're in here until a low, one of these lows is broken. Does that make sense? So at the point in which we're making higher highs for this actual structure, we're in the clear. Does that make sense? So it doesn't matter how long something takes to reach a particular area. If your structure isn't broken, trust the position, trust the move, trust the order. Does that make sense?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Yep.
I'm gonna put that trade
And that is for this here. Everybody understand that?
Yes.
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 Okay. Now, so again, for the person who asked, where did I exit? This was my first exit just because, again, price can range like, even though I knew price was going to come back here, it could come back as many times as it want. I knew that overall I was looking for that buy. So I maintained my order and kept that position, but you don't know remember the question isn't if something's going to happen, is when something's going to happen. So this could have easily, like, let's say I was up 50 pips in profit and on my lot size that was a great amount. So I'm not going to just give the market back all of that 50 pips. Like, what if this had gone literally all the way back down to retest this area? Now, again, I know my analysis and what I'm looking for, but remember, we on the higher time frame had not pulled back past 23.6. Y'all see this fib right here?
Exactly.
Now we did have, okay, so on this structure here, let me just go back. 38.2 is aggressive. So we did have a 38.2 push to 38.2. We aggressively pushed down, but that's done. So now at this point in which we have a new low where we can extend this structure, now at this point, this still had not pulled past 23.6. So at our 23.6, we know that's a continuation of structure, but also consolidation, right? So we continued, right? But remember, we can consolidate as much as we want. So at this point, it's like I was clear, okay, after the pullback, I'm getting a buy, and then I know I'm looking for my overall sell, but you still have to take it step by step. And it wasn't even clear that this was going to drop at this point, up until the point where we had our TP and then we had our divergence. And then that just, you know what I'm saying? That was just kind of, I feel like it's like life. Like, this is the best, like, it's like me being a mom. It's like people in relationships. It's like all of every single thing that you've been through in the past, experience is the best teacher. That's why I keep trying to give you guys or force you guys to be in your charts as much as possible, because there are certain things where, like, sometimes people will say, Jessica, how did you know that? Or how did you see this or whatever? But it's my experience. The students that you guys see that's successful, or like Malcolm, when he posts something or whatever the case may be, like, it's the continuous, or Liz, like, it's the continuation of being in your craft that literally teaches you what you need to know. And when I have like those students that talk about like that intuitive feeling where you just know, like, that negative 61.8, I didn't really have a break and retest for it. I was just at negative 61.8. I said, oh, this is the buy I'm looking for, and took it. But again, it's that intuitive, like, the more you're in it, that's when you're gonna know. All right. So since then, I've drawn a trend line at the top of this structure. Now, I want to show you guys what I'm looking for now. So we have divergence here, right? On the DXY, we also have divergence. We also have divergence starting to form a little bit on a higher time frame, which means I'm looking for this to pull down, then push higher. So same thing with GU. But the thing that we need to be careful about with GU, and I'm gonna go back to this higher. I'm gonna go back to my clean charts. So I also urge you guys to do this. So you have your trading charts, but to see the higher time frame without all of the like individual fibs and stuff like that, make sure you guys use a different broker to like see your overall time frame so that you can see clearly like where you are in structure. So where we are here, okay, this zone is right below this area, or right kind of like where we actually, let's see. So it's literally right where we are right now, actually. Now, remember, and we talked about this months ago, we keep pushing. If you look at this, right, we've been in this consolidation zone through since November. So, I mean, if we make it to November, we'll be in consolidation for a whole year. You know what I'm saying? Even when we formed our divergence, you see here, we're still in this area. Now, this consolidation zone still ranges with different points of what I would say is like points of control, like just very strong areas, but there's still all areas that we need to like take into account and notate. All right. So this is the higher time frame that we're looking at. Now, this still has some room to go because remember, we're looking at 4 hour. All right. But if I go into my trading time frame,
You don't have close?
if I were to put this,
I just want to make one about it. Because of this heavy phone case, the child might not down. See?
sorry, I just need to mute somebody. Let me ask y'all a question. I just want to do a poll because a couple people asked me, could I do this? But I want to know y'all's thoughts on it. I think it's a great idea for when I actually have this child. But what do y'all think about me doing those calls like pre-recorded like I did, and then people ask questions in the comments for me to go over so that I'm not interrupted, so it just gets straight to the point? Because I have a lot of people that's like, I don't know, but I
Yes.
Yeah.
because I
That's
feel
cool.
as though like
Please so much more detail too.
It was perfect without the interruptions. It's perfect.
Absolutely.
yeah, I do feel like I could just think more clearly and I don't get interrupted and I just can say, not like I feel like I feel like I have my analysis in my mind, but then when I start answering questions and stuff like that, not that it throws me off, but it's like I feel like I'll just go in a different direction and then not kind of finish up like the actual
Definitely.
aspect. However,
Definitely. And save the dialogue for Mondays.
okay, so is that what y'all want to do? Do we touch and agree for everybody?
Touching
That would be
and
great.
Sounds like a
agreeing.
great plan.
Touching.
Yeah, absolutely.
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 The people that actually have a question, the people that actually have a real question about what you were saying, they're gonna put it in the notes and you can respond to it.
Okay, so yeah, that's what I was thinking I was gonna do. I was thinking, if everybody, because, oh, let me tell you guys, asking me questions on Instagram is not it because I barely check DMs. I really like am never on there. So it's like I feel like I miss a lot of people. And then like this one girl, I didn't even see the question. She asked the question like 3 months ago, and I just responded this week. And she was like, "Oh, girl, I already figured it out." But if you put it in, let me tell you guys. If we agree that I'll do those calls like that and they'll be uninterrupted, then that way I'll just strategically in my mind have it set to where I'll just do it structured. So I'll do the analysis and then I'll go over all the YouTube questions at the very end of the call to make sure everybody gets answered. Okay.
Perfect.
That's perfect.
Okay.
That is a
Sounds
good idea.
good.
All right, so look, guys, so this is what I did. So I extended this fib on here. This is what I'm expecting on GU, but this is the first thing we got to make sure first. All right, let me show you guys. So I got that trend line coming from the top, but also where we are right now is a trend line structure that we need to see this, how this reacts here, to confirm this pullback before the continuation of the drop. Now we have divergence. Because I also have divergence on my DXY, the question is this going to come to this trend line, this zone? Like, we kind of have to take this part step by step. But what I'm expecting is for a price to pull back, then continue to drop. But again, the part that we need to look at, or the part that you have to look at now, is where we are on this zone. So y'all see this here? So for that continuation of that fib, let me just continue it on this time frame so you guys can see. That negative 27 comes right in the midst of this zone. But if you look left, you see how choppy this is in the midst of this zone right here? Y'all see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you just want to make sure you have your confirmations first. We got bullish engulfing, we got some exhaustion here, so, and we have divergence. So it's obvious, like, that big impulse down. The next two we're looking for is basically our pullback. We already have a minor pullback that happened already. But where we are right here, we just need to make sure now this isn't finished. I mean, that this is finished. Does that make sense?
Yes, that
Yes.
makes sense.
Okay, so
Yeah.
remember, divergence can continue to divert as long as it wants. So really the telltale is just going to be waiting on this here. Waiting on that and then kind of confirming what's next. Does that make sense? So whoever just asked me about extending the fib, so yes, I extended my fib. And sorry, I just wanted to make sure I finished that thought of in this structure before I hop to now, where we are now in the market. Okay. So does that make sense to everybody?
No problem. Thanks.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool. Okay, so questions. I feel like I got one.
Yeah, your work should be done. If you're not feeling well, I mean,
No,
seriously,
I'm not at all.
get you
Like,
some
my head
rest.
banging.
Yeah, just
But
yeah.
no,
Exactly what I was
need to
thinking.
finish
Just
these
call it a
questions.
night.
Hold on. Let me just finish these questions and then I'm gonna call it a night. I don't feel like they complicated. I was in the smaller trades on the 15-minute, unaware of the overall trade on the 1 hour, and didn't stay in for the whole trend. Didn't see the update until Friday morning. Okay. You just have to decide what type of trader you are, whether you're intraday or scalper. Like, there are, like, for instance, even that trade that I said I took where I twin traded both of these, I knew the overall move that I was looking for, but because I'm in the midst of this consolidation, this was my next stopping point prior to this one up here. It's nothing wrong with securing your profits. Like, I think sometimes people are like, oh my God, it played out so long. Like, listen, sometimes I'm super busy, where this week I caught all the moves that I was looking for because I was prepared for them and looking for them. But let's say I'm super busy, or let's say I'm sick, or let's say I have something going on, or, I have legend or something. Sometimes I might not catch the whole trend of something. But remember that just comes with one, the territory, but also, so what if you caught 50 pips instead of the whole 100? Like, you still got profit. You know what I'm saying? It's not even a thing about being patient, it's the thing about being smart. Like, the whole goal in trading is to extract money from the market without your money getting taken. Period. So if you see a smaller move that you want to take advantage of, take that smaller move. And if you don't have time to hop back in it, or wait for your perfect entry for the overall move, then that's perfectly fine. But you would much rather secure your profit than for price to completely push you back into the negatives just because you was in a trade for way too long and didn't cross your I's and dot your T's. All right. What assurance did you have to hold that price on GU? Okay, so I already answered that one. Why would you not extend the previous fib since it only hit 23.6 overall? How did you know when and not to extend a fib? So I extend the fibs based off of structure and what structure I'm in. Sometimes fibs are completely done, right? So like this uptrend fib right here, this is done. I'm no longer looking for it, right? But when I have my higher time frame fibs, if price is continuing and there's a continuing structure, then I will continue the fib. Does that make sense? So it depends on what structure I'm in. The only fibs that I really extend are like, I never move my higher time frame. So if like my 4 hours, like those are like my concrete where I don't touch them. But if I'm like looking at like 1 hour or 30 minute and that structure is continuing to form, just like the one that we did here for, remember my overall sale that we're in right now that I was looking, or that's been playing out here, right? I extended this fib because the structure, it, I mean, it's obvious. Uh, I feel like it's obvious as to why. When it was here, I didn't pull back past the 23.6, but I can't extend it until I have a structure to extend it to, if that makes sense. No different than when I talked about that buy at the beginning of the week, where I couldn't draw an uptrend buy, or I couldn't draw an uptrend fib on that structure until that high was set for the buy to be formed. What brokers good? You guys have to do your own research on brokers just because I'm not liable to give that information. And does anybody know how we can actually be in the Zoom calls on Sunday? You have to be in a course to be on the Zooms for Sunday. Those were pretty easy. So we'll call it a night for tonight, but just remember here, guys, I do just want to re-emphasize, we already have divergence. So even though this negative 27, like that doesn't mean, what's the best way to explain this? Actually, I can explain it about a previous fib right here. You can have a fib structure and you can have a TP set, right? But depending on what time frame you draw it on, that doesn't mean that it's going to get hit right now. So you see how we have this exhaustion, we have this like divergence. We're clearly at this zone. Our zone is our net stopping point. So at this point, I'm looking for a pullback before I'm looking at that continuation. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
So don't just like, let's say you enter. Like, all right, so I'll tell y'all this. I already secured my profit from Friday. Even though I have that negative 27 under, I mean, I did very, very well last week. I don't need to risk it when I already have price. You know what I'm saying? Kind of. It's just, it's not moving and pushing like it was before. I'll just say it like that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas even with this negative 27, though, remember, price can diverge as long as it wants to. So even though that's why I said the main thing we have to see right now before we can really like determine, like I'm not getting in trade until I have confirmation. No different than here. I didn't enter right here for a buy, even though I knew that I was looking for the buy for the next part of the week. I entered once I had my pullback where I knew price was going to take that next part of the trade. Here, remember, we can keep diverging. We could even diverge to this negative 27. Will I be upset if, because I already put my trade and this negative 27 is right here and it could continue down? No, I wouldn't, because again, I trade smart, not gamble. Does that make sense? So like some of these you have to take it step by step. Sometimes we'll hop on this call and it'll just be like, okay, 1 + 1 = 2. It's gonna do this, it's gonna do this, it's gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you have to like really be patient and see, okay, what is price like? What is it showing me? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, Jess, I have a quick question.
Mm-hmm.
Can you show where your entry was for the sale? And then I actually have another question after that.
Yeah, so I literally just entered what during this divergence for the sale just because I had this test break and retest on minor structure for here. So after this divergence, price pulled up and then it was just I didn't have a higher high. I had a lower high in this point. So I entered there. And then what was your next question?
And then now with the sale impulse that we have, would you then put a minor structure fib on that once we get a stopping point for a minor structure TP?
So where we are, I don't have any, like we haven't really had any real pullback. Like I still have 23.66. So I want to see how structure, kind of like what I was saying right here to the left, is that I didn't draw a buy fib on this until I made sure structure stopped. I need to see like what's going on first.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
No problem. Because you never just want to draw a sell. I mean, you never just want to draw a fib at the end of price. You know what I'm saying? Like we need to kind of see what's happening fully. We need to see the full picture, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Hopefully. Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so yes. I don't know what somebody was about to say, but okay. So everybody, again, I just want to repeat, everybody that was in the summit, you have literally have a call that is tomorrow at 8 o'clock. It is a different Zoom link from this Zoom link, so make sure you guys check your emails for it. And this is for everybody that was in the basic summit that is in the mastermind. All of my main students, y'all's Monday call is Monday. Okay. Don't forget, not this Monday, not tomorrow, sorry, next Monday. So that, of course, come with your questions or whatever case may be. And then maybe I'll do one last call for this Sunday, and then we'll start next month going into the pre-recordeds. Okay. Because
Sounds
I be
good.
loving y'all too, you know, even when I don't feel good, I still, you know, love y'all energy, and I love y'all. Michael was like, "You still got to do the call? You okay, babe? Do you need me to do anything?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm still gonna do it." He was like, "You love your student show." I was
Your
like,
body's a little off.
"I
Just
really
take
do."
your time. That's
Make
all.
sure you go check your pressure, Jess.
Girl, maybe that's
Please.
it.
Yeah,
It-
please
it-
Your blood
rest.
pressure, Jessica. If you take 1,000 milligrams of Tylenol and it's not relieved, I call my OB and get triage. Just FYI, yeah. Just because you're
Mhm.
pregnant, I'd be
And then it's
concerned
been
about
super hot, so
pre-E.
make sure you're not dehydrated too.
Yes.
Oh,
Hydrate.
yeah.
That gives
Yeah, I
headaches.
need that. Okay, y'all.
Jessica, I just have
Health
a
is,
question.
remember, health is wealth.
I have one
Yeah.
question.
Right.
So for the newer students, do we just drop our questions in the YouTube videos? Because I think some of us have questions of like when we're drawing our structures, just to make sure that we have our foundation right. So any questions that we have, do you want us to just drop them in the YouTube videos?
No, that's what Monday calls are. So Monday calls are for the students. So definitely
I'm
ask.
not on a Monday call. Like I never got the email for like Monday call. All I have is when I
If
sign.
you have the course, then the information's in the course.
Okay.
So
Okay.
It's in the introduction.
yeah, it's in the introduction. So the all Monday calls, except the one for tomorrow, because that's literally just for the basics course. People like all Monday calls are every first Monday of the month. All of that information is in your course. So if you're in my course, then you definitely have that information in the in the
Package.
yeah, like that
The
said, in the
welcome package.
in the welcome package. And then it's every first Monday of the month, and it's course check-in calls. That's what it's for. It's for anybody who but I will say that I don't answer questions on assignment number 2 just because that is literally experience. Like you have to do it over and over and over. And I promise you, like, it's annoying to hear somebody say that, but it's the truth. It's like, and I'm only saying that also by experience, but also because I've just been doing this for so long at this point.
But
And the students
Jess,
yes.
if I may, I think her question was, how can she verify that her structure is drawn properly? You know, like how Liz used to check it. I mean, you send
Well, no,
it
that's
in.
what I'm
Yeah,
That's
for the
what I mean.
foundations and the zones, like the foundation and then the zones, because I picked 2 points, but I wasn't sure if those were like the correct points, and then I
Oh
tried
yeah,
to.
that don't matter. The 2
Okay.
points don't matter. So with support and resistance, it's just support resistance, it repeats itself. So as long as you got your 2 points, and then that very first assignment, girl, if you got a question on the very first one, then assignment number 2 is gonna be woo.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that I did it right. Like I'm a perfectionist, so I just want to make sure that it's done correctly, and then so
Girl,
that
you can't be a perfectionist in this market
No,
because
ma'am.
the market do not move in no perfect way. But just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Like I know that it's probably like in your spirit, it's like, oh my God, I just want to make sure. But I promise you, if you keep going, like everything is gonna click.
Okay.
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 All right, guys.
It'll click.
Better.
Good night.